Let's start with the good news. The good news is Breno is fast becoming the lower league Edison. All of his attributes are on the rise, and if you look at his on-the-ball play, such as his passing, his first touch, his vision, he can definitely play as a sweeper keeper. Now, you'll notice that he has conceded a few, 12 in 8, we'll get to that, but do bear in mind that he's never played a game for Santos. This is his first few games, so the fact that his attributes are rising like this is a really good sign. Into the championship playoffs, and despite dominating our first match, a 93rd minute winner for Amora robbed us. However, we fired back in the next game. We battered Trofense 3-0. Making it 2 in a row with a really good win against Braga's B team. Absolutely battered Academica. But somehow they scratched an equaliser. And this started a worrying theme. A theme where we dominated matches, but somehow lost. Halfway point of the playoff group. That looks a bit savage. We're sitting 7th. We've won 2, drawn 2, lost 3. I have no idea how we've lost 3. Played really well. But if you look at it, we're only 3 points off 2nd place. So we're not that far back. We've got 7 games to go. This is a halfway point. We've got a big 7 coming up. We needed a 95th minute wonder goal from Constantinescu just to rescue a draw against Trofense. This meant we hadn't won in 5 matches. This is our worst form since we took over the club. Absolutely typical. That late equaliser gave us a bit of form though. We did the double over Braga, which meant we are on the brink of promotion now. 3 teams above us, all on 17. We sit on 15. 4 games to go. We've got to play 2 of the teams above us. It's in our hands. Counter-attack twice from Academica. And somehow we lost that match. Look at the state of the match stats. Player of the match, Carlos Alves, their goalkeeper. Same story in the next match. We should have won that one comfortably. 3.7 XG. 89 minutes gone. Sporting B team beat us 4-3. Like a broken record, match stats say we should have got something. This meant our last game against Caldas, we couldn't do anything, we couldn't go up. The boys lost their heads. We've run out of steam. We conceded 6. A disastrous end to the season. We just conceded 10 goals in 2 matches. If you look at the entire championship group, we conceded 30 plus in the 14 matches. It looks like we simply ran out of steam, but I think I am to blame. Because the initial season went so well, only losing 2 or 3 matches, I've simply got complacent. I should have changed it more. I should have done more tweaks. We've got to change something for next season. At this point, it would be quick to jump on the panic train and just say, right, I'm getting a new tactic, everything. But let's think about this. We finished top of our group. We were class. We just ran out of steam. So I need to look at it a bit deeper and find what we can change subtly. So I visited the data hub and I don't have the greatest analyst, but I will be able to gauge something from the available information. So I went up to team and team performance. And I've got myself these scatter graphs because I knew we had so many chances in some of their matches. The first thing I looked at was attacking efficiency. If I bring this one up, you can see aggressive shooting, yes. Wasteful shooting, we're up there. We manage more shots per match than average, but we are less clinical. So I need to do something about that. So what I've done, I made a copy of the original tactic. There it is. I'm just going to tweak a few things. Now what I'm going to ask the team to do now is, because I'm having so many shots, I'm going to bring that tempo down a bit so we can take a bit more time. I'm also going to add in work ball into box as well, so we take less stupid shots because we seem to be having an awful lot of them. Next up, I looked at the defensive side of the game. If we look at defending here, we can see we're down in this area here for fewer blocks and fewer clearances. If we also look at tackling, we can also see fewer tackles. Back to the copy tactic. So this is going to be our alternative version, our B version. We're going to change our central midfielder on defend, making it a bit more aggressive, a ball-winning midfielder. And because we're a high-pressing team, I'm going to ask the 3 forward midfielders here to add in a bit more aggressive tackling, because maybe they're standing off a bit too much. They're not going to be the best tacklers in the world, but when they get there, we want them to put their physicality across a bit. So I ask all 3 of those to tackle harder. Next up, I saw possession as a big outlier. Let's have a look at this. Loose in possession, we're basically the most loose. Now, we are the most aggressive, so that's going to be a risk we do play, but we can probably tighten up a little bit. So I'm actually going to lower the tempo even more to a lower tempo in this version. I'm going to have a look at a few players once we start the season and ask them whether or not it's a right option to take more risk. We might take that off on a couple of players, such as the central midfielders. We might take fewer risks in there so they complete a few more passes. Finally, I looked at the last 5 matches, the ones where we've conceded the most goals. I think there's something like 15 goals have gone in here. And we can see we've conceded 7 and 15 goals have been scored from positions close to the penalty spot. They're recommending our low block, which is an option. I think what I will do is drop this down to standard or maybe even low defensive line. Remember, we're going to use this in not all games, but in some games where we might be against a stronger team. So I'm going to keep tweaking away at that. I want 2 versions of the same tactic, but a back-off version. I don't want to over-panic because the original tactic, the high-press one, which I know my squad can do, we won the league with it. So we were close. We just ran out of steam and we need a plan B, and that was my fault. So I'm going to work on this one to be the plan B and use the data hub to make it as effective as possible. Another easy place to panic is to replace all the players, but most of them have played great. But what I will say is we're going to look at the contracts expiring now, and we've got 1, 2, 3, we've got about 6 or 7 on the way out, and there's not any of them I'm going to keep. The big loss is going to be Miguel. His loan is about to expire and we can't get him again, so he will be needed to replace. But for most of this team, they will stay. There is a couple of positions that I would like to upgrade, namely the inside forward on attack. So I'm going to take him away from that position now. And the wing back as well. We're going to take him out. Everybody else is probably going to be a key nucleus of the team. We'll take our man out as well, considering he's leaving us. So you can see we've got 3 positions we need to fill. So don't expect a mad season like this one, where we had to get in all them players. I actually really like the nucleus of the squad. I want to keep it pretty similar, especially because we're in the same league. There will be some outgoings. And we need them because if we look at the finances now, we're now over £1 million in debt. How has it got this way? If we go up to expenditure, we'll have a look at the last month. I need to see where the big outlay is coming from. And you can see player wages is 73,000, staff wages is 53,000. There's not a lot we can do about that really. What it does mean is the board have set a different type of wage budget. It's less than last season at £24,000 a week. Transfer budget is 16. We won't spend that. We'll keep all this back for agents' fees and wages, but we're going to have to run it tight. So it's another season in League of 3. We didn't get the back-to-back promotions. We're going to make small tweaks, but that's going to be the basis of the squad. I do want to use King Abel more next season. Injuries have got a hold of him, but he's still a vital part of the squad. And I do have an alternative tactic if we can't get these 2 to fire. And here's a little sneak preview. It's a free at the back. I'm thinking about disregarding the wide players high up and getting a bit more solid at the back. Hopefully we don't have to use it, but it's there, it's built, it's ready. But for now we're going to pre-season. It'll be less hectic than last one, which is good because that one took me hours. And we built our tactics based on a few things from the data hub, not too much. I don't want to over panic. I can't get that across. We were good. We just ran out of steam. So all I need is a plan B for the plan A. We're going to come back firing for season 3, and this is the one where we need to get promoted. But indeed, this is a big problem.